Before participating in the following activity, there are some important things we want you to do. Please remember to practice physical distancing of at least 6 feet from anyone that is outside of your home. Wear comfortable and proper shoes. Make sure you have an open space around you with no objects or obstacles in the way. Use the proper equipment or alternative objects you can find in your home. And last, stay hydrated and have fun.
Hi everyone. I hope you're all keeping safe and healthy during these crazy times, and in order to do that, we know you've had to stay home a lot more than you usually are used to. And we know your Special Olympics golf programs are suspended until at least June 30th, and we're not sure what's going to happen after that. But that doesn't mean you can't do some practice. There's lots that you can do at home. And in fact, Tess and I are in our backyard right now. I'm Coach Mike from the Niagara Chippewa Chippers, and helping me today is one of our chippers, Tess.
Morning, SO athletes.
And Tess is going to help us with one of the most important parts of our golf game, and that's the warm-up. Because before you get out on the golf course, you want to make sure that your muscles are nice and loose, that you aren't tense, and before you start taking very big swings with your golf club, you want to make sure you're stretched and you're warmed up. And today we're going to be doing a warm-up that's one of the favorites of our Team Canada coach, Glenn. It's a dynamic workout, so it gets all those, especially the big muscles, nice and loose and warmed up. And it's, in this case, we have our golf clubs. We're not going to use them throughout the whole thing, but we use them for a little bit of stability and a couple of cushions. So the first exercise we're going to do is just some leg swings. And Tess, it's okay if you have the golf club.
Yeah.
And if you can do this without the club, it's okay. Even better because it helps your balance. But if you want to start out by using the club, that's okay. And we're just going to do some leg swings front to back. And so with the club in your right hand, you're going to swing your right leg forward and back. And we're going to do 10 of those, right, Tess?
Yes, we are, Coach Mike.
Okay, ready, set, go.
1, 2,
nice and high.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, switch clubs or switch sides.
Switch,
with your
yeah,
left
switch
hand.
sides.
And we're going to swing our left leg, right, Tess?
Yes, Coach Mike.
Okay. Left leg 10 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, the next one, similar exercise, but we're going to go side to side. So this time with the club in your right hand, and we're going to swing our right leg back and forth, left to right. 10 times, Tess, okay?
Okay.
Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, switch sides. Okay, Tess, on you, you're going to start us off.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, we had a little bit of trouble keeping balance, both of us on the left side there. So the next one, you can use the golf club or you don't have to, but this is just some hip rotation. So with a nice athletic stance, your legs, a couple 1.5 feet apart, we're just going to rotate left and right. 10, 10 of those, Tess?
Sure, Coach Mike.
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
And the further you can go around, the
4,
better.
5, 6, 7,
So these are all the muscles that you use in your
8,
golf swing.
9, 10.
Okay. And then for this one, we don't need our clubs, right, Tess? We're just gonna
No, we don't.
We're just gonna do. We're gonna practice the loading and swinging. So again, golf stance, nice and athletic, and we're gonna make a swing to the left. So we're gonna load up on the right. Tess, load up on the right and swing left.
1, 2, 3,
Okay, on the other side now, let's do 3 of those. We'll load up on the left.
1, 2, 3.
All right. Okay, the next exercise, again, you can use a golf club if you want to. It's better if you can do it without. It's good for your balance, but we don't want anybody to fall over, so for stability you can use a golf club. So with the club in your right hand, we're going to bring our left knee up to our chest, and we're going to rotate 3 times. In and out.
1,
In,
2,
out, in,
3.
out. Okay, now we're going to switch sides. Club in your left hand, grab our right knee, and the wider you can swing that knee, the better. 1,
1, 2, 3.
okay, good. And the next one we're going to do, we don't need our golf clubs for this one, Tess. And if you can move up a little bit closer there, we're going to do a lunge to the side. So we're going to grab, we're going to start with the right knee, we're going to pull it up to our chest, and we're going to lunge to the right.
1,
2,
2,
and 1 more. 3.
3.
And now we're going to switch sides. We're going to lunge to the left, grab our left knee, pull it up, and lunge.
1,
2,
2,
and
3.
Good. Okay. So now our next exercise, and that's why we have the cushions out here, because if you have a hard surface, you might want to have something that you can put your knee on. If you're on the grass, it's okay. This one we're going to get down on we're going to start off getting down on our left knee first. And we're going to put our right knee up in the air, and we're going to reach back with our left hand to touch our left ankle, and the other arm goes up in the air, and we're going to hold it for 5, Tess?
Yes.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
okay, on the same knee we're going to switch hands and reach the other hand back towards our ankle. Do another big stretch for
1,
5.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, and we're going to switch knees this time, and you'll find that it's probably easier for you on one side than the other. Then that's natural, depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed. And for me, loose on one side, stiff on the other. So on this one, right knee up in the air. We're going to reach back with our left hand, touch our ankle, and reach to the sky, and count to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And we're going to switch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, good. Size. We want to spread our feet apart, and this one's going to be another stretch. So with our left toe pointing forward, we want to make a T with our right toe. Spread spread your legs maybe just a little bit further apart, Tess. And then what we want to do is reach down with our right hand to touch our right toe and reach up to the sky with your left hand. And hold it for 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good. Now we're going to switch, legs apart, left toe pointing forward, right toe in a T. That's it. You got it, Tess. We're going to reach down with our left hand, touch our left toe, and right hand up in the air for a count of 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good stretch. Okay, and our last exercise is a little bit of a shuffle. So we're going to move this stuff out of the way. Got to go back and forth. So on this one, you're going to have a bit of an athletic stance, arms out in front, and we're going to shuffle to the left to a count of 3, and then we're going to swing to the left. Okay, Tess, on 1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3.
Swing left.
1, 2, 3.
Swing right. Good. Now you can do that. We just did it once because there's a limited space here, but you can do that, 3 or 4 times, whatever works best for you.
Hey everyone, Kirsten here from Special Olympics. Now, a lot of you know I love working for Special Olympics Ontario, but what you might not know is that I love to play golf. It's a bit of a different year this year, and so I've actually been playing a lot of golf in my backyard and taking advantage of how we can practice and get ready for when we can get back on the course full time. So today I'm going to share with you how I go about doing that, either in the evenings or on the weekends. You'll see I'm outside today. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day where I am in Toronto. So I didn't want to pass that up, but of course you can do all of this inside. I've got lots of different equipment that we can use throughout this to make sure that we're ready to get back on the course as soon as we can. Before you get started, make sure that you've got a big open space around you. As you know, golf includes a lot of swinging and some clubs. We don't want to knock anything down. And make sure that you've got some water. It's sunny outside. I'm also wearing my hat here. That's because I don't like the wind blowing in my face as I'm trying to get ready to play golf, but also so that the sun doesn't beat down too big on my head. I also like to practice as if I'm about to go play golf. So I like to wear a hat when I golf. I think it helps me zone in. Usually I wear sunglasses, but I didn't need those out here today. And of course, I've got my glove ready for when we go. Before we get started for everything else today, I'm going to show you what I brought out with me. So I've got a 7-iron. We're going to work on some of our swing stuff, and then to do a couple of fun drills in the backyard. I've also brought a wooden spoon, just in case you don't have your clubs at home with you. A wooden spoon is great. I actually practice a lot of my swings in the kitchen as I'm cooking dinner. And so I brought a spatula as well. A spatula from the kitchen really helps to emulate, as we're turning, we're going to do a drill like that soon. You can also use a racket. I just didn't have a badminton or tennis or ping pong racket at home with me. Of course, I've got my water here. I've got a tea towel that we're going to use in a bit. You can also use a bath towel or a face cloth, whatever works best for you. And then I've got 3 different types of balls. Now, sometimes I like to practice some things in the backyard with a golf ball, but my neighbors don't really like it when I hit it into their backyard. So I try not to use a golf ball too much, but I brought one just in case. And then I brought 2 other types of balls, and this is what I would use inside as well. So I brought a balled up pair of socks and a stress ball that I had at home. You can also ball up paper, use a ping pong ball, use a wiffle ball, whatever works best for you. Now, to get into the swing today, just to get our body warmed up, I'm just gonna work with my 7-iron here and kind of work on my practice swing. Again, it's a great space to do this outside, but you can also do it inside. If you're doing a drill like this around your home, I suggest that if you're using a golf club, you flip it around so you're actually holding where the iron head is, and you can still grip the club just the same. You'll see that the iron head is below there. And that way when I'm swinging around, if I happen to hit anything like the side of the house or a wall inside, I don't really hurt it too much because the grip is what's hitting it. So today we're going to just work on our swing just a little bit to see where we're at. Now, I've been having some trouble lately and I don't have time to go out to the range, so I'm going to try to use a couple of these drills to correct my swing, which tends to be going right a lot. So we'll see how this goes. I'm addressing the ball with my usual grip. Again, I'm right-handed. So my glove hand is what's going to go down first, and then I'll put my other hand on top. Now I use an interlocking grip at the back. I have pretty long fingers. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can overlap, you can use it like a baseball glove, whatever you'd like to do. I also have a little trick that I like to do, and you'll see that my thumb, when it's down there, I actually move it over to my left. So usually we suggest gripping like this. I use it like this because it helps to roll my wrists around, and I have some troubles with that when I play golf. So I've addressed that. It may or may not work for you. It's up to you. Now, I know you've done some great swing practice with your clubs and especially with your driver. Today we're just going to do it with our irons. So I'm going to move all my objects out of the way and address the ball normally. Again, we're in the backyard. I don't want to hit anyone, so I typically use a leaf when I'm figuring out where to aim the ball. And I just want to take some practice swings today to start off. So remembering a couple of our key features. My legs or my feet are just outside my waist width apart. I've bent my knees in an athletic stance. I've gripped the club. I'm using an iron, so the ball's actually going to go basically in the middle of my stance. And I'm going to take some really slow swings to start, always remembering the basics when we're swinging. So as I'm pulling the club back, I'm making sure that my knees are nice and bent, and I'm making sure that my core is twisting. At this point, my left shoulder, because I'm right-handed, should be pointed towards where the ball is, and my chin is basically just on top of that shoulder, looking at the ball. So I've got a nice core twist going on here, and my club head that's hanging in the back is basically pointed to where the ball is going. So again, if I draw it up slowly, I've twisted nicely, and I'm ready to come back down at impact and go through the ball. Now we want to make sure that our belt buckle or our belly is to the target, and our face is opened up nicely to watch where the ball went. The key to staying down low, I find, is to always keep your eye on the ball as long as you possibly can. So as you're swinging, your back shoulder will actually push your chin through to look at the ball. So you really want to look at the ball until it's actually left the ground, and then when your body is turning, it will push your head forward to look up. Okay, so we're going to take a couple swings and get comfortable with that, just to warm up a bit. Now I want to be brushing the ground. With an iron, you really want to hit into the ground. This is my backyard, so I don't want to take a lot of divots here, so I'm not going to try to take any chunks out of the grass, but I am going to make sure that I'm brushing the grass pretty aggressively each time, a lot more than I would if I had a driver. To continue getting warmed up, one of my favorite drills to do, to focus on twisting instead of using your arms. Now, the biggest thing I like to focus on when I train in the backyard is that faster swings don't always mean that the ball goes farther. So I like to focus on slowing my swing down, making sure the mechanics are working properly before I get out to the course and try to hit it further, which may or may not mean that it goes left or right into the woods, especially for me. So to do that, I like to start with my feet together, and I actually do this at the golf course as well too before I warm up on the first tee. So I'll usually just take some regular swings with my feet nice and close together, and that means, by doing this, that means that my core has to twist when it goes back and forth. So just nice and easy. I can't really use my arms too much because my feet are close together, and it makes it a lot harder. So this is a good exercise to do. So we're going to do that a couple of times. And then as we get more comfortable, just slowly start moving your feet a little bit more apart until you've got that usual golf stance back in there. And you can already see that it's a lot easier to spin after doing this than anything else. Another drill I love to do to make sure I'm slowing my swing down is to swing with a towel. So if you take a tea towel like I've got here, I'm going to roll it up the long way so that I've got a nice long roll here, and I'm going to tie a knot in one of the ends. Having trouble tying knots today. Alright, so that knotted end is basically going to be your club head. So I want to grab the other end just like I would with my usual golf grip, and you'll notice it's a pretty wimpy golf club. So you're going to need to swing real slow to get it going well. So I'm going to take it back a couple times. It'll hit me in the shoulder as I go through, but it's just a nice feeling to get to swing nice and slow. So when you get back out on the golf course or the driving range, you can feel exactly what's going on. One more for good measure. Feels good. Now you can do these for as long as you want. We're just going to go through a whole bunch of them today. Another one I love doing to make sure that my club head is at the right angle as it's hitting the ball is to use a spatula or a badminton racket, a tennis racket, or a ping pong racket, whatever you've got at home to make this work. Now, if your club is hitting at the wrong angle, that's what makes the ball go right or left. So if your wrists are not rotating at the right time, and as a result, your club head is either open or closed when it hits the ball, it's going to direct the ball that way. So you want the club head to be flat when it hits the ball. Now, a really good drill to do that, like I said, is by using a spatula. So I'm going to grab the spatula, just like I would a normal golf club, and I'm going to take it back and stop when I would usually hit the ball to make sure that it's flat. You can see that it's flat there. I'll swing right here for everyone, right into the camera with my spatula. And you can see right here that it's flat. If it was coming like this or like this closed, I would be able to use this to adjust nicely to make sure that my wrists are turning at the right time to go through everything. The next drill I love to do is really about weight transfer. Again, when we're looking at nice and slow stuff to slow our clubs down while we're at home training to get back out onto the golf course. A lot of people think the faster you move your arms when you swing, the further the ball is going to go. That is not always the case. What you really want to do is build up momentum through your core when you twist and create a little bit of torque and then unravel as you're going towards the golf club. And so to do that, I like to do a weight transfer drill. I'm going to move back so you can see my feet a bit. What we do for this drill is really train your body to recognize where your weight should be as you're swinging the club. So when I come back, my weight should be almost all on my back foot. So as I come back for this drill, what I want to do is actually step my front foot, my left foot in this case, towards my back foot. And then as I come through, I step back, transfer all my weight back onto my front foot, and then go forward. So again, I'm going to pull back, step back, pull forward, up into my usual finish. And you really want to make sure your back foot is up on that toe. By doing this, it helps your body rotate around, belly to the target. As always, my knee comes right in and helps my whole hips, belt buckle, stomach, face to where the ball went, because of course it went straight, right? Okay, so we've got two more drills I want to talk about that help me on the golf course. Both of them involve our tea towel. So you need a tea towel and your club. Now, when we really start to work on our rotation, if you try to swing too hard with your arms, sometimes your arms start to get away from your body. So I find that this drill really helps me keep my arms right on my side and forces me to use my core to spin instead of my arms to swing through the ball. So all I do is fold a towel a couple of times, and I'm right-handed, so my towel is going to go under my left arm, my lead arm. If you're left-handed, it's going to go under your right arm. All you do is stick it right under your armpit, give it a nice squeeze, and then take a normal swing. Now, if you're using your core, the towel will stay under your arm the whole time. And if you're using your arms too much, you actually create what's called the chicken wing in golf. And if I move too much with my arms, you'll see that the towel will fall out. So what I want to do is be hugging that towel the entire time. And you'll see the towel will stay. That helps everything stay nice and tight to the core. Our last drill today again involves the towel and really talks more about the weight transfer that we did when we stepped back and forward into our stance. So what I'm going to do is put the towel under my lead foot, my left foot, take my club to do a swing, step on that towel, And you're just going to want to swing normally and really notice how it feels to stand on that towel. Make sure that there's pressure on the towel here. So I'm going to swing, and I can feel that towel under my foot here. And I'll back up just a bit so you can see me. Very simple. Now I've got to wash my tea towel. But you can feel all the pressure go onto that towel. Make sure that it's there. When you're coming back, if you remember our other drill, there should be no pressure on the towel at all until I come forward and transfer all of my pressure over there. Just a couple of ways to stay active and fit and have a really good time in the backyard. Now, of course, golf is all about fun. And why would you play if you're not here for a good time? So always, whenever I hang around in my backyard, I like to finish off with something that's fun, whether it's a challenge from someone that I live with, whether it's putting or chipping, or even some keep-ups with our wedges and balls in the backyard. We always like to have a good time. So I'm going to show you my setup today, and we'll do a little bit of a chipping challenge before we take off. Okay, so we're back. Again, focus for me, for everyone, is all about fun when you're out playing golf. No matter what kind of situation you find yourself in, whether you're just practicing, out playing with your friends, or competing in a tournament when we can do that again, you still want to make sure that you're having a great time. So anytime that I practice or play, I want to make sure I always finish with something that's fun. I've set up a little bit of a chipping challenge here in my backyard. I was able to find some bins and a picnic basket around my place that I put out here, and I'm just going to shoot around for a bit and see how many I can get in. I've got a regular golf ball here, just in case I feel up to it. I've made a ball out of my socks, and I've got my my stress ball here from work. And all I'm going to do is just take a couple of nice little shots and see how I can do. That one wasn't too close. I've got my usual golf ball here. Good thing I've got my bag as a backstop, and then of course my ball of socks, which doesn't fly too well, but is really good practice. What do you usually do to practice at home in your backyard or in your house? Sometimes I've set up some putting challenges around the carpets, down the stairs. I usually try to use a ping pong ball for those because you don't want to pick up too much speed and use a golf ball. I've also tried keep-up challenges with my wedges and lots of different ideas, things that you can get pretty good at. If you're ever in doubt, there's lots of good ideas on the internet for how to pass the time. Make sure you get out there, have fun, stay hydrated, and don't worry, we'll all be back soon. No matter where you practice or how you do it, the most important thing, as always, is to have fun. I know this year has been a little bit different than others and not as normal or usual. I know everyone's going through a tough time. Know that we're all here for each other. Special Olympics is such a great community, and your golf teams and your golf coaches and your golf teammates are a great community as well. Make sure you reach out to them. Make sure you stay connected online. Get outside, get active. We'll all be back to golf very, very soon, and we hope to see you all again soon. Have fun, everyone.
Our next activity from the resource TikTok Beat the Clock by Sierra Ontario is called 3 Up. So this is a difficult one to try to stack 3 golf balls into a nice tower and keep your tower up. I haven't been successful with it yet. I'm not doing it in the best spot. Table is a lot harder. Maybe if you were doing it on the grass, on the carpet, it might give you a little bit of an advantage there. So my suggestion is 3 up is difficult, so maybe even trying with 2. So I'm trying to get the one golf ball on top of the other and let it stay. So it is patience. Let me start my timer and see if I'm able to accomplish one in our 60 seconds that's there as well, and you can try the same thing. I feel like I felt excited there because I thought it would help. But it is a difficult one, and even to keep the ball there for 3 seconds. The other way that you could do it as well is maybe doing a tower this way. Maybe makes it a little bit easier that you've got 2 balls on the bottom for the base and trying to get that third one to stay, I was so close, to stay on top and be able to stay by 2 seconds maybe. So you could be able to use it there. So try those both out, whether it's a beautiful tower like this, I can't do it, but a couple, or using your base and trying to get one to stay on the top. Again, maybe the table's not the best place to do it if you're wanting to succeed, that maybe the grass, oh, I felt so good right there. Anyways, there's my timer. So wasn't able to do it, but hopefully you can try this one and be successful. Our activity that we're going to do is called blinders. So you see set up in front of me some paper towel rolls and some toilet paper rolls that have golf balls on top of them, bean bags, tennis balls, golf balls, whatever it is that you decide to do with it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a step back from the table and put a blindfold on and start my clock. And what I have to do is carefully moving forward, and I'm trying to take the golf balls. I'm trying to get 2 golf balls off the paper towel rolls without knocking any of the others down or off the table. So if I knock it down or it falls off, it's out of commission. It would be nice if you had a partner who could set these up for you, because I can see where they all are. So if I had a partner, they could be moving them around, so I wouldn't know where I would be searching for the balls. So I'm just going to take a step back and I'm going to start my clock here. Blindfold on, making sure I can't look. I'm hitting start. I'm turning around, trying to find the golf ball. So if you kind of go in low, there's, a chance that, well, you could end up knocking the ball down. Now it's out of commission. So whether you're reaching, oh, that one's out. So there's one for me. Oh, that's one's out of commission. No. And there's one left. But I didn't see I pulled my blindfold off. So with that activity in your 60 seconds, seeing if you can collect 2 balls off the top of the rolls to be able to win that challenge.
Hello here, Glenn Kandari from North Bay, Ontario. We hope you enjoyed today's rules. We're at beautiful Pineville Park Golf Course with our Special Olympics Team Ontario athlete, Mandy. So we look forward to you seeing a new rule or two today, and take care. Okay, so here we are on this par 4. Mandy, that ball looked like it went left towards the trees over there. Is that what happened? That's exactly what happened. Okay, so would we agree that the trees look pretty thick up there, right up towards the green? We're about 150 yards away.
Probably deep in there.
So it could be deep in there, yeah.
Because of the slope.
Yeah, the slope. So now what are we going to do from a rules perspective here?
Well,
do you think for sure it's lost up there?
Slightly no.
Okay, so you're not sure. Okay.
I'm not too sure. So what I'm going to do is take a provisional.
Okay, so can you explain to us what a provisional is?
So a provisional is if you hit it off the tee.
Or from the fairway.
Or on the fairway.
Yeah.
If you think it is lost, then if you can't find it, then your option is to take a provisional. And then you'd be hitting
with a penalty.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me just summarize that, right? Because you were spot on. So essentially what Mandy has said, if she's hitting her second shot here on the par 4 and it goes left into the trees, she's not sure if it's lost or not. What we don't want to do is walk all the way up there, realize we can't find it, and then have to walk all the way back here again, because once a ball is determined that you've lost it, right, you have to go back to where you last hit the ball from. So instead of doing that, you would hit another ball from here called a provisional. Right? So once you get up there where you think your ball is and you look, if you find it, great. You go ahead and keep playing with no penalties. If you don't find it, you add a penalty stroke and then play your provisional. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, you want to hit one right here now? Let's drop it like it's your provisional. So from the knee, good drop, yeah. So that was a new rule from a couple years ago. And let's hit one into this green. Okay, today's rule is about what we call a red penalty area. Again, with some of the rule changes just a couple years ago, for some of you, this would be what we would call lateral water hazard. And that language will probably stick around for a while. It's been around for probably close to a century, but it is now called a red penalty area. So you can see here, we're on the left side of the fairway, and close to me is this red stake here. And I'm just gonna walk down this little valley, come back up, and you can see in the shade, there's another red wooden stake, okay? And those two stakes will determine the imaginary line that defines the penalty area, okay? So I'll look back here, and so you can see it there again. So what's happened here is Mandy's hit her ball in some of the yucky stuff, and we'll see that you can see her ball here. Now, very often in red penalty areas, this is actually water, but in this case, it's still long grass and it's treated the same as if it was water. So before we determine what we're going to do, one of the most important things you need to do is determine where the ball last crossed the imaginary line between the red stake that you can see in front of me and the red stake that I just showed you behind me. So what I'm going to do is take the camera back here a little bit, and you can see here the top of this stake, and you can see the one in the distance, okay? And you'll see about halfway what we've done to help you see it is we've dropped a red head cover. So that's the point that we've determined that Mandy's ball last crossed this imaginary line to end up in the long grass. So we've decided, Mandy and I were talking about the situation before we started videoing. There's a few different options that she can take. So Mandy, let's just review the 4 options that we're going to talk about. What was the first one you told me?
The first one is go back and tee it up.
Okay, good. So if you decide that the grass is so long or it's in the water and it's just maybe more an advantage to go back to the tee, in this case because you hit it off the tee, and take a penalty, is that correct?
Yes.
Of how many?
Of 1.
1 penalty. Okay, great. So let's talk about another option from here in a red penalty area. What else can you do?
Well, we can go as far as possible, but obviously who wants to hit that?
Right. So maybe let me clarify that. You're absolutely right. So similar to some of the other rules that we've done, like unplayable lies, what you could actually do is take the spot where the ball is here, all right? And what you can do is keeping that spot between you and the flag, which is a little bit difficult to see here in the video, and you could go back as far back behind the camera here as you wanted. But as Mandy was quite correct in saying, as you saw, behind this is just more bush, so it's not really a good option. It's still an option, but not a very good one, okay? So we've decided there's 2 options. What is next, Mandy?
Well, the next one would be to take club length.
Okay, how many club lengths?
2.
Okay, 2 club lengths.
So,
Where do you take your 2 club lengths from, though?
like we got the red stakes.
Yep.
So the point of entry.
Yes, which we decided today was
These are my head.
the red head cover. Okay, so let's show us how to do that then. So so there you go. You're gonna take 2 club lengths. So there's 1, and you're gonna flip the driver over for 2. You put your tee down, and you must drop the ball within that space, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, just so everyone can see. Oh, okay, we don't have another ball with us handy. It's a live action here. So as you've seen Mandy in the past with these rules, she drops it from her knee, and then she goes about and plays from this new spot as I turn around towards the hole over here. So one of the key things, as always, is that when you take your relief from that spot, it can't be near the hole. All right, so you must find a place that doesn't put you closer to the hole, so there's no unfair advantages. Okay, so 4 options when you're in a red penalty area. Play it from where it lies, go back to where you last hit your shot from with a penalty shot, go back as far back as you want, keeping the spot where the ball is between you and the hole under penalty of 1, or as Mandy just showed you here with 2 club lengths, which is probably the most common, not near the hole with a penalty of 1. So lots of options here with red penalty areas. It's a rule that you really should get to know because it's quite a common one. We're going to talk about yellow penalty areas. So in just a year or 2 ago, we used to call these water hazards. So many of you will recognize a yellow penalty area as a water hazard that runs perpendicular to the hole. So I'm standing in the fairway now here. It's a bit sunny, but if you look just up in the middle of the camera, you'll see the flag flapping up on that nice hill on this par 3, beautiful little par 3. And so this is, you know, when you have to go over the water, this is when you would have that yellow penalty area. Now they're replacing the stakes here, as I found out today, so we have no yellow stakes. So what we've done is we use Mandy's alignment rods. You can see one here on the left of the camera, one on the right of the camera. So we're going to use those as our yellow stakes for today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just come over here. So this is typically where these stakes would be. I'm just going to go down here in the weeds a bit. So you can now see these two alignment rods, or let's call them yellow stakes, so yellow wooden stakes usually. And we'll not worry about the head cover for the moment. I'll explain what that means in just a second. So if you've hit your ball into a yellow penalty area, or in other words, you didn't get it over the water, let's say, what's going to happen is you're going to have to determine, all right, where that ball crossed this imaginary line. So as I draw this line from stake to stake, you'll see here, all right, that we have to determine where that ball crossed that line. Okay, so as always, one of the options is you can play your ball if it is playable, even if it's on the other side of the stake. So even if the ball, in this case, was located down in this area, you could still play that even though it's on the other side of the stake. Maybe not advisable, but you could do it. Definitely, probably not if it's in the actual water. So one of your options is to play it from wherever it sits. The second option is always to go back to the tee if you hit your tee shot in here, or back to the fairway, wherever you hit your last shot from, to place your ball into this precarious position. But most commonly what's going to happen, and we'll get Mandy to demonstrate here, is you're actually going to go up and you're going to figure out, we use the head cover to determine this is where the ball last crossed what we call the penalty area margin, or that imaginary line. So what she's going to do is put a T right where we've determined that is. Now normally the head cover wouldn't be there, right? So she's going to then just put a T by the head cover, Mandy. All right, so let's take the head cover right out of there so we don't confuse people with this video. So you can just throw the head cover off to the side. Okay, yep. Okay, so she's going to put a T down where she determined where it last crossed the hazard. Excellent. Okay, now, one of the things about a yellow hazard or a yellow penalty area is there's no number of clubs that you need to take. You can actually, all you need to do is leave the spot where the ball last crossed the hazard line, or the penalty area line. You can see the white tee here in the middle of the screen, and you can see, even though it's a bit reflection of the sun, you can see the flag up top. And I'm basically keeping that tee between me and the flag. And if I was Mandy, I could come back and go back and back and back and back as far as you want. Now this is a good example because you can see here that it's pretty rough if she was going to drop it very close to this, where she's pointing here. So in this case, Mandy might say, hey, I think I'd rather have a little bit of a longer shot, right? And she might even keep coming back to where there is some pretty good grass, and then she would drop it like at her knee like she's supposed to. That ball is now in play. She's kept that tee where it last crossed the penalty area line between her and the flag, and then she'd be good to hit a shot up onto the green. So I think, Mandy, you should show us how awesome your pitching skills are. Here we go. That is absolutely perfect, and we should end that video with a high five. Yeah. Well, there's today's rule. Hopefully you learned a little bit about the rules of golf today. And Mandy?
See you on the links.